Hi Archers! Today I'll be guiding you through the new co-op mode and how you and your partner can increase your chances of reaching higher levels. In this video, I'll be going through everything you need to know about co-op, the best heroes, the best weapons and gear, the best abilities, and tips, do's and don'ts and strats throughout the video. For today's video, I am collabing with another dedicated Archero player, Reddit mod and YouTuber, Minkemink, also known as the Doctor on Discord. Minkemink was in a recent co-op tournament and reached second place out of the 8 best co-op duos out of 400 qualifiers. This video will be a mixture of my research and his. A link to his YouTube channel and Reddit post will be in the description box below. My name is Teeds. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe and click the bell for more Archero videos. A disclaimer, this is based on my research and Minkemink's research. We all have our own experiences and opinions, so you may or may not agree with either of us. Always adjust to what works best for you and what you enjoy most. Co-op mode is here every single day. It's a very fun mode and it's very flexible with experimenting new things. First, everything you need to know. Co-op is a mode where you battle monsters with one other player. There are 100 levels in co-op mode. If you're a newish player, co-op mode unlocks after completing chapter 3. You can play co-op mode a maximum 10 times a day. You do get rewards in co-op mode, but it does cap after 3 runs, and from that point on, you will not gain any rewards until the next day. There's a boss level every 10 stages. Co-op mode does not count towards your battle pass goal. There is no matchmaking or invite system at the moment. Hopefully that changes in the future, but for now you will have to copy a room code you will get when you create a room and send it to another player. Some really important things to know. You play with base stats. This means no matter what gear or level your hero is on, it won't matter as it is set to the hero's base stats. Here are each hero's base damage and base health. This is what your stats will be. I'm sure this is implemented to balance the co-op mode for both players, making it rely more on abilities and player skill. Because of this, there are no epic item passives or really any item passives, which means players should rethink their setup and adjust accordingly. Talents and all hero bonuses have also been made redundant. The next thing is starter stepping is not the same in co-op. Minkemink states that it's almost impossible, and in my experience, it is very hard to do as it depends on connection. Some players are able to stutter step pretty well with bad connection, but most of the time it's very hard. I was able to stutter step very well in a game with a player from Australia, where I am. However, when I played with Minkemink, who is in Germany, I had a very hard time stutter stepping. Minkemink was able to stutter step in our game though, so it is possible, but at the moment I think connection and lag play a role in how well you can stutter step. And the last thing is that knockback does not work. I am not sure if this is intentional, time will tell, but because knockback isn't working right now, this also contributes to the weapon tier list change. If they were to fix knockback in co-op, then I will update this video after testing the weapons again. With that, what's the best setup for co-op mode? So let's go for heroes first. As Minkemink says, for hero choice, only base stats and abilities matter. Helix, Sylvan, and Minkemink are not only the most popular heroes, but also the 3 strongest heroes in most cases. These heroes carry some of the best abilities in the game. Minkemink mentioned something very interesting, which I agree with and have tested. A hero that adds a lot more cooperative play is Rolla. Rolla was not seen in the tournament, but she does have the highest base attack of all heroes, and her ability freezes monsters. This may work very well with another player, as one player attacks and Rolla provides crowd control. This means the other player has more space to move and can attack much more frequently. The top 4 heroes for co-op mode would be, in no order, Sylvan, strongest hero in the game right now, provides a lot of damage, and for the player using Sylvan, removes 4 abilities from the ability choices. This means overall, Sylvan also has a higher chance of getting high tier abilities, making him even stronger. Not only that, it is a lot easier to get the best abilities in the game because the pet abilities have also been removed. Next, we have Rolla. With what I said previously, she has the highest base attack and provides crowd control, which is especially useful here due to the no knockback. Then we have Minkemink. Co-op levels have a lot of wall obstacles. Minkemink's cats can help you safely attack enemies behind walls, as well as do a ton of damage. And then we have Helix. Strong hero, of course, and deals a ton of damage. The only con I found for Helix in comparison to the other 3 heroes for co-op is that he only has the damage and doesn't contribute with any crowd control or safety nets. But he still has very high damage, and this makes him perfect to pair up with the other 3 heroes who do. Personally, my favorite combination is Roller with any of the other 3 heroes. I find Roller and Sylvan to be a great combo due to the high damage and crowd control, but that is for players who have paid for the heroes. Sylvan and Roller are only available with real money. All in all, these 4 heroes are the ones I find to be the best for co-op. Despite that, just play what you love most and experiment with different combinations. Next, we have the best weapons. I agree with Minkemink's weapon tier list for co-op. I've tested all the weapons and I experienced the same thing. I personally found that co-op mode had a lot of melee enemies, and remember, there is no knockback at the moment to help you with that. Because of this, it forces you to reposition a lot due to the lack of crowd control, which means you rely on getting as many high damaging attacks as you can, unless you have some abilities that deal crowd control. As I said earlier, co-op mode only takes in the hero's base stats. However, the game does factor in the weapon's damage modifier. For example, using the Death Scythe gives a 145 damage weapon modifier, while the bow is sitting at 100%. So coming in as the worst weapon for co-op in 6th place is the staff. In my opinion, the staff by itself is a decent weapon, but paired up with diagonal arrows, and if you add multi-shot to that, it becomes the highest damaging weapon and extremely strong. This weapon by far is the strongest weapon with the right abilities in comparison to other weapons with their respective recommended abilities. But it is weak in co-op mode because of its huge con. It takes up too much of the screen. This can make it very distracting for your partner, and if you both had the staff with diagonal arrows, you might barely see anything. Not being able to see what's happening can result in defeat. And because the weapon does have a little bit of a delay by placing a projectile on the ground before firing, and you do have to move around a lot, it can be a little bit hard to reposition successfully and do damage at the same time. In 5th place is the Bright Spear. Again, another strong weapon in other cases, however it is very slow. The projectile speed is almost instant, but because you can't really start a step in co-op, the attack animation is too slow for the damage that it deals. What you want to avoid in co-op due to the no knockback is the small window between attacks. I found that the Bright Spear's window was too big, even though the projectile speed was very, very quick. A big animation window results in less attack, which results in the melee enemies gathering up on you as you aren't able to attack them fast enough. A big animation window also results in the likelihood of cancelling your attack when repositioning. In 4th place is the Scythe, also a big animation window with a slower speed, but has very high damage. I personally found that this weapon worked very well against melee monsters, even though that there is no knockback, which is a huge con for the Scythe, as one of the reasons why it's so strong is because of its knockback. The Scythe was able to do a ton of damage despite the slow attack and animation, killing the melee monsters quick enough. In 3rd place is the Tornado. High base damage, kills enemies quickly, and the attack speed is also fast. If you are using Tornado, please do avoid the abilities Piercing, Bouncy Wall, and Ricochet. Minkemink also notes that it's especially good combined with Freeze, however the big projectile may get stuck on walls and crowd the screen. In 2nd place is the Bow. Fast weapon, very flexible in builds, feels smooth, and the projectile is small, which means less distractions. In 1st place is the Sawblade. This weapon is one of the lower tier weapons in general. However, in co-op it shines. With the removal of epic abilities in general and the speed cap, the Sawblade had the worst epic ability in the game in my opinion, but that doesn't matter here. Fast attack animation results in a smaller window, which means if you have to reposition, you're less likely going to lose out on any attacks, which means you might be able to attack just before you move. That's the weapon tier list for co-op. As I said earlier, it's always personal preference. I am a Scythe main user and my favorite weapon is the Bright Spear. However, I've reached the furthest in co-op with the Sawblade and I found it ran best out of all weapons. For gear recommendations, it actually does not matter what gear you have because it is not factored in according to my research. I tested different level 1 common items and the stats of each item is not applied. It seems that co-op only factors in the hero's base stats and the weapon's damage modifier. This is to balance the game for both players, as I said earlier. So if you were to equip a Vest of Dexterity or a Phantom Cloak, you would not get the max HP increase, the dodge chance or projectile resistance. If you would equip for example, the serpent ring or the wolf ring, you would not gain the extra damage to ranged and melee units. For ability recommendations, these are my recommendations based on mostly distractions. What you absolutely want to avoid, unless agreed upon with your co-op partner, is when you can, avoid abilities that can distract or confuse other players, especially on weapons with large projectiles. For Tornado specifically, do not pick up Piercing and avoid Ricochet and Bouncy Wall. Ricochet and Bouncy Wall removes the return damage of Tornado. Other than that, I also recommend avoiding Diagonal Arrows, Side Arrows, Rear Arrow, Bouncy Wall, all Star abilities, and all Meteor abilities. These abilities can be very distracting for the other player. The other abilities I recommend avoiding is Bloodthirst. In my experience, after playing co-op many times, this mode is not lacking in heals. Actually heals you quite often. Bloodthirst does very little for you in this mode because it does not count the enemies that your partner kills. So if you had a partner who had a stronger hero and better abilities than you, this means they would probably kill more things than you. And then we have Giant. While this ability can be great if you're good at dodging, I feel that it is much more risky in this mode. There is no knockback in this mode and it is very melee monster heavy and also very projectile heavy. Not only that, but if the enemy were to lag, the enemy is more likely to hit you. I tried Giant a few times in co-op and it went so bad. The only time I would pick up Giant is if you already have the ability Dwarf. Abilities I do recommend picking up are Multi-Shot, Rage, Ricochet unless you're using Tornado, Front Arrow, Attack Boost, Crit Boost, and Attack Speed Boost. Personally, I really love the attack speed in this mode because I do not start a step in here. I do, however, still pick up Attack Boost over Speed Boost. Dwarf, Freeze Arrow, and Chilling Blast. I find that these two abilities really help against a no knockback effect. Dodge and Agility, from my research, you do not have any dodge at all, so Dodge and Agility can help with that, and Invincibility. These are the abilities I personally find to be the strongest in co-op mode. One more ability that I will talk about that both Minkemink and I haven't come across is Slow Projectile. This ability may not be included and it might be because of a sync issue or something. I am not sure if it's blocked out. Otherwise, if they did include Slow Projectile, in my opinion, it would be a fantastic ability to have for both you and your player due to how many projectiles are in this game. And then some general tips. I did a few tests on these and from what I could see is that monsters tend to attack the player who is closest. If your partner is low health, try and take aggro from the monsters. If you see your partner is having trouble, move closer to them to attack the same monster. Sometimes my partner may have less damage than me and is having trouble killing a skeleton running towards them. I would then run to their side and help them attack the same monster. These are some tips I found in co-op. If you have any of your own, let me know in the comments down below. If you're looking for co-op partners, I have a Discord channel where you can copy and paste your room codes to find someone to play with. Please do read the rules and select your role, which would be archers if you're mainly from Archero. I also have a $60 Nintendo eShop card giveaway, which you can use to buy games, gift to a friend or family member, or buy online Nintendo services. The link for that will also be in the description box below. That is all for today's video. I thank you very much for watching. Subscribe and click the bell for more Archero videos. Let me know what you found to work best for you in co-op mode. I hope to see you again for the next one. Bye!